Okay, good morning, class. So, as you can see, by now you watched these two videos. Yes, my kids and wife is singing "O Canada." That's their routine now. It's very patriotic. Why are they singing it twice? Anyways, oh, that's why. Anyways, so you watched these two videos of it already about immune system and antibiotic resistance. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna be using this handout here. So you should have this link should take you to this document here. Now, what I do really like about the brain prop video is that even though the vocabulary is very simple, it was really in just that two video, and I think it took less than 10 minutes. It really described how all this, the concept of how immune system work and how kind of antibiotic and virus and stuff like that. Now, there are other videos. But I didn't make it as a required watching. But it would be actually very interesting, and I'll add it later on the playlist, and I'll attach it to the document. Especially at this time where we're talking about coronavirus. Okay, so a few things. So let's kind of get to this lesson. I don't know whether we'll get to this whole thing today. I do not intend this to be a whole entire 30-minute video. I'm going to try to hit a few things, but I want you guys to really pay attention, and I really want you guys to try to answer questions. There will be questions. There will be questions I want you to answer using this Edpuzzle platform. Okay, so that is also my way to track your participation, and in some ways let me see how much you're understanding this stuff. It's kind of like in class, trying to make it as much as possible like in class. So as in the video, we kind of talk about there's two kinds of immune system. You have what you call a non-specific immunity, and then you have this something called specific immunity. Okay, specific immunity, blah blah blah. Where is it? Not in this list, but you'll see it. No, I can't find it right now. So, anyways, so the non-specific immunity, just like in the video said, you're talking about the skin, you're talking about the mucous membrane. Okay, they're just physical barriers. So this is a reason, for example. Now, before I get off track, this is so basically, non-specific immunity is you're just blocking, you're just trying to prevent any type of pathogen, any type of bacteria coming inside you. It's not specific to one type of bacteria or one type of pathogen. It's really just to protect from any kind. So, for example, skin and mucous membrane, it's like, there was a raccoon. Yep, there was a raccoon in my house in the attic during my spring break. Me and a couple of relatives spent a few days trying to figure out how to do this to get rid of it. But in the event of a raccoon biting me, this skin will be broken. It will draw blood. And if it happened to be a raccoon that have the rabies, then in this case, I will be infected. So the skin and mucous membrane, they are like physical barriers against bacteria or viruses. So here there are a couple of places about mucous membranes where you find it. And in some ways, in the mucus, you actually have a number of things, not just water, but you have glycoproteins and things like that. They are to trap the bacteria. Okay, here are the list of things. So nasal passages, the head of penis, foreskin, vagina, they will produce these things. That's why the whole idea of especially nowadays. Don't touch your face. This area, that's where the whole coronavirus or other viruses can go in. Lysozyme present to break down the pathogens, so they're non-specific. Okay. Now, so in this case, let's talk about the whole entire thing first. I'm going to skip this part. We'll talk about another time. Now, so just like the video, we'll talk about the non-specific immune system. Now, after the non-specific immune system, now the video used the term leukocytes. Okay, leukocytes. Now, this term leukocyte is not listed in this document, but you should also pay attention to that and have it written down on the side. So if you want to go back to that video, look at it again. Oh, wait, it's actually here, leukocytes. The spelling is different because British textbook and American textbook sometimes will have different words, but again, on the test and exam, they don't care. Now, in leukocytes, it's a non-specific type of white blood cells. There's actually many types of white blood cells. One type of them is called macrophages. So where is the macrophages? Macrophage, okay, it's not listed here. So if you look back at the video, you see these, okay. So you see these guys that looks like they're going to eat everything. That's a macrophage. Okay. So in this case, and there's a picture of a macrophage here eating a whole bunch of bacteria on the side. Okay. So in this case, these phagocytic leukocytes, i.e. macrophages, eat these pathogens or these bacteria, and then later on they will actually present these antigen molecules. Antigen molecules are the molecules that are found on the surface of the bacteria or the virus, and actually really any cell they call it antigens. So in this case, they will present these parts of the bacteria that they ingested, that they've broken down onto their surface, and then it will allow other the specific immune system to kick in. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit more about that. Now, when we're talking about non-specific, because they don't care about, as I said before, they don't care about what different type of pathogens. A macrophage might be eating might be ingesting an E. coli bacteria, might be ingesting a coronavirus viral particle, it might be ingesting, I don't know, a Staph aureus bacteria. The same leukocyte or the macrophage or phagocytes would eat really anything. Okay, it's not specifically designed on one type of pathogen. Now, when we're talking about so let's focus on the specific immunity. Now, specific immunity is just like in the video said, hey, what happened if it skipped through this whole thing or they never recognized it before? Now, the whole never recognize it before, this is the part where, keep in mind, so for example, when we're talking about, just like now, when they're talking about the coronavirus, it's something that no one has immunity before because it is a brand new virus. It never exists, according to experts, never really exists before. And so none of us historically has genetic immunity to it because us, as well as our ancestors, never encountered it before. So we never recognized these type of antigens before. So now when people encounter it, just like in the video said, it will kind of grow and multiply like crazy. If it is a bacteria or is a virus that we have seen before, let's just say, an antigen that we've bacteria that we've seen before, our macrophage will probably eat it and broken it down so quickly that it doesn't really have time enough to multiply it and get us sick. Okay, or if there is any symptoms, it will be very mild. Okay, however, in the case of like a new type of bacteria or one that we do not have immunity to, then in this case, what will happen is this. Yes, a few of them will be eaten by macrophage or leukocytes. However, it's not going to be fast enough, and it's not going to eat a lot of it. It's not going to be eaten away. And so what happens is that these bacteria and viruses will have time to multiply. And because they have time to multiply, will start showing symptoms. And between the time of the non-specific immunity and what is called specific immunity. So looking at this document now. So first of all, you have non-specific immunity. That's the first line of defense. The second line of defense is your specific immunity. So your specific immunity kind of like have to wait for a little while to kick in before the so that's usually the first non-specific one goes in first. So non-specific immunity deal with any type of pathogen. Specific immunity deal with a specific kind of pathogen. Okay, so just like earlier, the leukocytes here, the phagocytes, the same phagocyte would attack or eat many different types of pathogen. The specific immune system will make a specific type of white blood cell called lymphocytes. Now, these lymphocytes are only going to attack one specific type of pathogen or antigens. Okay, they are only attacking one type of pathogen based on the antigens that's on the surface of this pathogen. Okay, so it's very specific. Let's just say a helper T cell or a lymphocyte that is specific to coronavirus. Let's just say somehow you have it, blah blah. You got the virus and blah blah. Let's just say your body's loaded with the lymphocytes that's specific to the coronavirus, but you ate a bad hamburger. Now, because that lymphocyte is specific only to coronavirus, you ate a bad hamburger, it has loaded with E. coli, it's not going to help you. Okay, it's a favorite question that a lot of students ask. So this is a difference between non-specific and specific. And this is the reason why your specific immunity takes a little while to kick in, because your body actually have to figure out, hey, what is the pathogen that they need to deal with, and then they have to make a lot of the specific white blood cell or the specific lymphocytes to deal with that particular pathogen. Okay, non-specific immune system just attacks anything that is foreign, so it's always there. Okay. Now, I think if there's any question on this part, this is a time to ask question. Okay, pause and ask question if you don't understand. Now, so we're going to talk about what is the specific immune response. So it's basically this section here. Okay. So production of antibody by lymphocytes gives specific. Now, so the ones that are specific to make specific response those are called lymphocytes. Antibodies are proteins, molecules produced in response to a specific type of pathogens. Now, so let's look at this part here. This is more important. This is more like a vocabulary. Lymphocytes, that's white blood cells for specific immune system. Antibodies are protein molecules to a specific type of pathogen. And pathogens have proteins on the outside. They're called antigens. Okay. And antibody is specific to a type of antigen on top of a specific type of pathogen. Okay, it's a very clear, important point. So how antibody or specific immune system kicks in. Okay, this is the part that takes a few days to work. So the pathogen is engulfed by the phagocytes. So where is it? So here's the thing. Your skin broke, like onto your blood cell, into your system. You have the pathogen. It has antigens on the top. Now this here, you have, let's zoom in a little bit. Here you have phagocytes or macrophages. So phagocytes, macrophage is a specific type of phagocytes. Sorry, I keep on using it. My major is immunology, so sometimes I'll just keep on using those old terms. Phagocytes. So it eats, engulf an pathogen. Now, after it engulfs the pathogen, it will display the antigen of the pathogen on the surface, just like this here. Okay? So you notice that little triangle, red triangle here is now showing up on the surface of the phagocytes. Think of it as showing trophies. I don't know. Okay. Now, on the side here, this activates a complementary helper T cell. Now, helper T cell is a specific type of white blood cell, so it is a lymphocyte. Okay, helper T cells. So T cells and B cells, they are lymphocytes. Okay, phagocytes, they are leukocytes. Okay, non-specific, specific. Okay, so helper T cells is a first type of leukocytes. Now it recognizes the antigen that's being presented on the phagocytes, so it activates it. Okay. Now they say complementary. The reason why you say complementary is that it only actually activates on top of helper T cells. They are surface. It's very similar to like a receptor. Okay, it's like a receptor. So this concept of the structure and function is very important in biology. So here, the ones that fits the right size will activate it. It's complementary helper T cell. The helper T cell stimulates an appropriate B cells. Now, when we say appropriate B cells, and we're going to see a diagram a little bit later. So appropriate B cells is, again, a B cell that has a specific type of shape on the surface. It's very similar to, if you look at it here, the shape of these on the surface of the B cell is actually it's actually complementary to the receptor on top of the helper T cell. So when this part happens, the activation of helper T cell stimulates the appropriate B cells. Now, what they tell the B cell to do is the B cell make clones of itself through mitosis. So the right kind of B cell, the activated B cell, will just make a lot of copies of itself. Now, these clones either become plasma cell to produce antibodies. So just like this diagram here, produce plasma cells. So just keep on pumping out antibodies. And these antibodies are, as the video said, tag on, attached to the antigens. So it either flags it for more phagocytes or macrophage to engulf it, or just neutralize it on its own. Some of these activated B cells become what we call memory B cells. Now, Memory B cells remain in the body, provide immunity against the pathogen if it ever invades again. So the fact that we have I think the video addressed that before too. So the memory B cell will stay in your system for quite a long time. So next time, if you see the same pathogen again, not only you have non-specific immunity protecting you, you have these memory B cells, just like, hey, I've seen that guy before. I know that I need to kill this. So in this case, they will just reactivate very quickly and start pumping out antibodies again. It shortens the memory B cell shortens the specific immune system a lot faster. So it is a matter of days difference. So in this case, if it is a pathogen that you never encountered before, like the coronavirus, okay, it takes a number of days for your specific immune system to kick in, because you never have any memory B cells. Okay, so in this case, you are just taking time your body's just taking its time to deal with this issue, to go through this process of making it. In the meanwhile, the virus is building up, attacking the rest of it. The reason why people would die, well, I shouldn't say that. If those people who died, if doctors were able to kind of manage the symptoms so that these people and their body can keep going, eventually their specific immune system will kick in, and then they will have enough activated B cells to go in and destroy the virus, and they can be healed. The problem about the coronavirus is that this takes so long, and for those people, and this takes so long, and the symptom is so severe and relatively quickly that for the older people, even younger people too, for some younger people too, it's just the fact that before this whole thing can do its job, they just die from the other symptoms. They can't breathe and stuff like that. Okay, there's also other reason why the coronavirus is bad too, but we're not going to get there right now. Okay, not this lesson. So that's why the idea is that later on, hopefully, if you have a vaccine, or some people are talking about, oh, if you got coronavirus once, can you get it again? The research on monkeys right now, so my cats, showing no, because the memory B cells here. So in this case, the memory B cell was like, oh, I've seen this coronavirus before. Let me activate this. Okay, so they will kick in, and then this process will go much faster, so they don't get the disease again. Okay, or they can kill the pathogen before the person can get severely sick or to get sick. Okay. Now, do you have any questions? Okay, I want you to. Do you have any questions? This process is actually quite important, and the terminology is quite important, and it's kind of dense. Okay. So, how long has this video been so far? How long has it been? 20 minutes. Okay, so I think I'll stop right now. Write down one or two things you understand and from this video, and then write down maybe one question you want to ask. Okay, I'll look at it. And we'll try to do I'll figure out some interactive way to have conversation. Okay. Bye now.